Hej, hej, dzisiaj mam dla Ciebie nie lada gratkę, bo rozmowę z osobą, która pomaga rodzić książki. Śmiejemy się, że każdy z nas nosi w sobie książkę. Sama jako autorka Oplotki, Sukces, Handmade, którą widzisz tam za mną w tyle, miałam niesamowitą frajdę z pisania, wydawania tego takiego wewnętrznego dziecka na świat. Dzisiaj zapraszam Cię do wysłuchania rozmowy z osobą, która pomaga rodzić takie właśnie książki, jak Svenja o sobie mówi, jest akuszerką książek. Ta rozmowa odbywa się po angielsku, ponieważ Svenja pracuje po angielsku i po niemiecku ze swoimi klientami. Znamy się ze środowiska naszej wspólnej mentorki biznesowej Sigrun. Poznałyśmy się osobiście po wielu latach znajomości takiej online'owej, podczas retreatu, czyli takiego wyjazdu właśnie z Sigrun w bardzo kameralnym, zaledwie 15-osobowym gronie przedsiębiorczyń online. Bardzo miło było mi poznać ten jej model biznesowy, który opiera w całości na bardzo intymnej relacji z autorkami książek lub osobami, które w sobie książkę noszą i potrzebują narzędzi lub po prostu zachęty, aby taka książka mogła ujrzeć światło dzienne. Zachęcam Cię do wysłuchania tej rozmowy, zwłaszcza jeżeli czujesz, że nosisz w sobie takie właśnie małe dziecko wewnętrzne, czyli książkę. Może gdzieś po cichu marzysz o wydaniu własnej książki, albo po prostu czujesz, że w Twoim biznesie taka książka mogłaby się stać elementem przydatnym w całościowej strategii biznesowej. Ze Svenją mówimy bardzo konkretnie, dotykamy takich blokad, które bardzo często uniemożliwiają nam właśnie zabranie się za ten proces i troszeczkę odczarowujemy taką wielką kobyłę, za jaką często uważa się proces wydania książki. Mówimy o takich bebechach, praktycznych krokach, które możesz powziąć, żeby sobie ten proces ułatwić. Ja trochę dzielę się historią wydawania oplotkowej książki z zaplecza, ale przede wszystkim zapraszam Cię do wysłuchania tej rozmowy, ponieważ Svenja jest niesamowicie ciepłą, taką emanującą dobrą energią osobą, którą po prostu warto posłuchać, z której warto doświadczenia czerpać i która wie, że zainspiruje Cię nie tylko do wydania, napisania własnej książki, ale do dzielenia się Twoją historią, ponieważ ona jest bardzo cenna i może zainspirować kolejne osoby do działania. Zachęcam Cię do wysłuchania naszej rozmowy. Wszystkie potrzebne linki znajdziesz w opisie do tego wideo. Do zobaczenia. Hello, Svenja. I'm so glad that we can chat around about the book and about, how cool it is to have support online and have somebody that knows so many new things that you don't know. For everybody's, I'll just let Svenja to introduce herself, but we're going to jump right into talking about, publishing your own book, but also how important it is to have somebody that will help you along the way. Svenja, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. Tell a couple of words about what you do.
Yes, thanks for inviting me, Agnieszka. I'm very happy to talk to you. I'm a business book mentor and also a co-writer for female entrepreneurs with a strong mission. So with a strong why and a very great story how they want to change the world with their businesses. And I support them with writing their book on their own, but also as a co-writer. So I write for others too. Yeah. Yes. And I'm guiding them through the whole process because I'm a book lover since I'm a little child, and I love books since I can think about it. So yes, that's what I do. Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. I wanted to introduce Svenja to you because we met actually offline, and it was such a magical experience because, we first met each other online through Sigrun's community. Sigrun is my mentor, and Svenja also knows Sigrun and does a lot of her programs and a lot of mentoring there. But we actually met not only online during those online MBAs and, growing our businesses online, but also we met offline during this affiliate retreat. And that was such an amazing experience, after all that COVID and pandemic lockdowns, to just meet in person And there was this magical setting, like in Austrian Alps, of the nature, the power of these mountains. But we also had this possibility to talk about the idea of, writing a book. And I remember we had this talk about that there are so many women that have important message to share, like something really great that should be heard around the world. But they also have this mindset of, who am I to write a book? Who am I to tell that story? Like, why would I write a book? Like, who am I? Svenja, do you meet women like that have this mindset thing? And how can we, convince that it's worth at least trying to write the book?
I think that nearly everyone I worked with had this kind of thinking in her head first. So I'm thinking about a client. She published her book just 1 week ago. Yes. And she was like a year around in my email list, and then she jumped. Yes. And it was also this kind of thinking, like, who am I? Yeah. She wanted it so badly, but she thought, who am I to do this? And still she thinks that, yeah. So, but she did it. And I always say, or said to her and my clients, who are very great experts, they know a lot about their topics. So I always say, so from whom do I want to read a book if not from you?
Yeah.
You have such a great experience and such a great story with it. You're with your heart in this business or with this topic. And so I want to hear from you what you think about this.
Yeah.
So there's no reason not to write your book.
Yeah, like there's nothing that I could even add to that. Like, I remember I've been that person, like, and I feel I am that person still now. Like, I still cannot believe that this book is like sitting there actually published, right? It's like, who am I to write the book, right? And somehow we need this permission. And I remember that I did gain this permission of somebody that does similar things to you, like on the Polish market. And she didn't even like coach me in the writing. Like, she just told me, like, you should write a book. And that was enough for me to listen to that from a person that actually writes a book and coaches people to how to write a book. Just to have this like external permission from somebody, even though I felt from within, like, I want to write that. Like, I need to put it in words and give it to people. Like, it's so important message to be heard. But I still needed this validation. How do you give that validation? Like, when you work with clients, is it that you just like talk to them, or when is this click moment when they believe they can do it? Like, how do you make that magic happen?
I think deep inside they know it, because otherwise they wouldn't be in my list or something like that. So it's just when I talk to them, I ask them, so what's your experience? How long are you learning more and more about your topic? So, and they always tell me, oh, I have 100 clients on that. I do this and that. I have this education. I'm like, well, here's your answer.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking. I'm very into the right questions. I think that's the best way to guide someone to that point and show them that's just a belief that you have in your head, and that's not true. You can write a book, and if you really want it, you should. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's so true. Like, deep inside, we know we urge to write that. Like, we just need that person that could tell us, like, don't even have to tell us, as you said, it's just a question. Like, you make yourself realize that it's only you stopping you from doing that. Yeah. That's so beautiful. Svenja, I just want to ask you also about the process of, co-writing the book, because I remember I shared a lot in our community about, the process of writing the book, how we self-published it, how we did the crowdfunding campaign. I guess our community is a bit sick and tired of listening about the process of the book rather than, reading the book. But I'm very curious about also this part when you said co-authoring, because I don't believe that many people know that there is this possibility. It's not that you actually have to do it on your own. You actually can have somebody experienced to maybe not do it for you, but do it with you. How does it work?
Yes, right. I think there is this kind of, I don't know, in German, we also have the word ghostwriter, and that's it's more a bad one, a negative word. I don't know how it's in Polish, but ghostwriting is more like copying or not being true about the process. And this is why I use the word co-writer, because this is more like, yes, doing it together to create this book together. And this whole process is very individual, because I'm now in the third book project, and one of them I did with a blog, a very good, with a lot of blog posts. And we went through this blog post and we did a structure, and I created the book with these blog posts and added some stories. So this is one way to do it, but I think the main process is to do a structure together, and then I'm doing interviews. So I interview you, like I said, with a lot of questions, and I'm listening, and I record this, and that we go to the whole book structure, and then I write it down. Yes.
Yeah, that's so cool. Do you feel that it's also this way to feel more secure? Because I remember I had this thought, you know how to write, you write blog posts, right? But the book is something different. You want to make it really special, really professional, right? You don't want to make some errors that you don't even know that there shouldn't be, things like that. Do you feel that ghostwriting or co-writing, because ghostwriting is as you said, I think this phrase also functions in Poland, that it's treated like somebody writes it for you and you pretend that you wrote it yourself. But co-authoring, that could be this way to go when you're afraid that you are not able, a skill set is not enough for writing the book, right?
Yes, and also my client now, she said she always wanted to publish a book, but she's more into speaking than into writing. Yeah. She doesn't like to write a lot, but she's very good into talking about it, about her whole experience. So this process is perfect for her.
Yeah.
Just doing the interview, yes, and telling her, her stories.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's such a good point. Yeah. Svenja, I want to ask you also this question, because I know that also in my community, especially in my masterminds, there are a lot of women that really want to write a book, but they kind of cannot make time in their calendar for that. I remember I had this thought, we also talked about it, that you have to go to secluded place and sit there for 3 months looking at the sea, in this beautiful cottage in the mountains or something. And then the inspiration will come and the books will arise. And I felt that my process was nothing far from that, in the middle of COVID, lockdown, kids at home, everything messy. But I did manage to write it, and it was so inspired writing. Do you also see that there is this thinking of, okay, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have energy? What excuse do you see for not writing the book?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I think that's the main point, or the main reason I hear is, I don't have time for this, or this romantic idea of being 3 weeks or 3 months in another country, just writing the book. And I'm I don't know this. It might work, but in most cases, not. So my idea of writing a book is more like a project in your business. So, and you make time for this in your business calendar. And if you are very organized, I'm always talking about structure. If you have a very well structure and foundation for your book, you don't need that much time for writing because you can write very focused.
Yeah.
You just like, I don't know, 4 or 6 hours per week. And that's enough to write your book in 3 or 4 months, or you did it faster than that, but
yeah, that's true. That's so true what you said. Like, I remember that the only thing at the beginning that saved my life was the structure. Like, it was actually writing the book, but in like a structure of a book, like what will be in each paragraph, in each like heading and everything. And then it was just a matter of filling those gaps, like telling those stories, the ideas. So I had like really notes, like the scene on the playground, scene with Jacek, scene when I like crashed my computer in the middle of webinar, and that was so easy to then just sit down and like have 15 minutes, then you write 15 minutes. And then when you have 2 hours, then you sit and write 2 hours. And it was just like, if you listen to Lena, she just came back from school. It was just like that. Like the kids are running around, something is happening. Like it's always this way. And for me, that was perfect excuse not to write the book. Because it was like, oh, it's messy, I cannot focus, like I will not be able to do that. But when I had that structure and I made that decision, it was actually, okay, I know she's going to be back in 20 minutes. I've got 20 minutes to write. Okay, let's do this.
Yes, absolutely. Because you never sit in front of an empty page. You know what you can write all the time.
Yeah.
So it's not that feeling like being stuck or something. You can just go through this.
Yeah, and that's so liberating. I remember that it was also so fun because when you have this structure and you have like, okay, I write about this, will write about that, and then you just write it down. Then you just sit down when you have 1 hour and just like, do I write about this or that? And you just pick and like, okay, today I fancy talking about that because I have some nice phrase that came to my mind, or like this nice set of adverbs that could really describe the mood that I was in, or I'm in a mood that is similar, so I can like feel into it. Yeah, that's such a beautiful tool to actually make it into chunkable little parts that squeeze into your calendar.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I love doing structures for my book or for others. That doesn't matter. It's like, creating the outline is like a book comes to life. It's so great. I love this work.
And I remember also about, we've been talking about the mission of ours, like that we have our businesses, and the mission behind your business is to really allow others to write those books. And I remember when we met in Sigrun's retreat, and I remember Sigrun pushing you and challenging you during this hot seat. Like for those who don't know, like Sigrun is a mentor. She's all about online business. Like she does this online MBA, she does the Kickstart program, which actually allows you to create, your online course in 10 weeks. But where we met was this gathering of people from her community, really like a closed circle, all the women that actually recommend Sigrun's program to other people that want to join that. And we had this affiliate retreat, but it was not only talking about how we can, advertise what Sigrun does because she's so awesome, but it was also about the session for us, like this masterminding session when we dove deep into our businesses. And I remember, Svenja, you on the hot seat, and there was this challenge from Sigrun, like, how do you make it even bigger? Can you share that? Because I remember there was this moment of breakthrough. You really you are flourishing in your business after we met. I remember you had this really like a magical moment there.
Yes, it's always, I think it was my first business retreat. So it was an amazing experience, and I felt a bit small.
Yeah, I get to say
I'm like, oh my God, such amazing women, and I'm one of them. Oh my God, can't believe it. And I think that was the main point for me. And also to stand in front of you and talking about my idea, and just to speak out my vision, that I want to be I want to become the leader in the German-speaking market, just to say this, not just in my brain, just really speak it out.
Yeah.
And that's so important. And I think that's also the magic of a book, because you write it out, you publish it, it's out there, it's visible. So it's not just in your head. And that was very, oh yes, I think that's where the magic happened, when I just said that and talked about it, and like, okay, now it's here.
I remember I was so impressed, because like my perception of you and all the ladies coming there, it was the same feeling. Like, who am I here? Like, what am I doing here? They're so amazing. Those missions, their ideas, their businesses. And obviously, Sigrun as a host, she has this magic of putting in one room, like right people that could like boost each other's like confidence, power, and like stepping into this, like daring to do what I'm meant to do on this planet, right? And I remember that going out of this session, I had this thought, like, there are so many women that are hiding there. They are professional, they know what to do, they have the mission, but they don't dare to even start making it as a business. And I remember there was a lot of talks about how do we make our mission be clothed in business model that will be actually a vehicle for us to help more and more people, like to touch more and more people. And I know that online business in general, to me, now we're so privileged, like that we have those times that we can actually sit in our room, have the kids in the other room, and like still make a huge business, like 7-figure business. Who would have thought? And I'm really curious how it grew for you, because I remember we met like in Signal's community. So we're obviously talking about, online business. And when you think of writing a book, you wouldn't connect it to online business right away. But you did manage to make a really nice business model, helping people to write their books, but also having a vehicle for you to thrive as a, business owner, as a person that is self-employed and, knows what to do, makes the decision, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So what I do, I think a book is such an amazing tool, because you can use it offline and online. And I don't think there's something that can do this for you. And what I do is I have a live program. So it's half a year now where we write and publish also the book.
That's a lot. That's for half a year.
And I think I would say that's my heart. This program is my heart. I really love to do this program because it's very intense, and I love to work with the people who are in there and talk about their books and text and so on. And I'm also doing this one-on-one, what I also love. And I'm now adding more and more, like, I'm from the media. As you can say, I started as a writer in the media for magazines and so on. And I think that I will use this experience more and more to get also not just the books done and published, but also in the media.
Yeah.
How to use it for your media presence and so on. Yes.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, that's such a beautiful, metaphor you said. It's really true that there's only a book that could do that, be online and offline as well. Like I already experienced that. There are so many people like just entering our community because they've been given this book as a gift, or somebody lent me the book. Like my friend just gave me that for holidays to sit around at the beach and they just come back and they're like, where can I buy something from you? They don't even tell, but they're like, I'm so mesmerized by the story. Like, I need somebody like that. I love your way of thinking. I want to be that. Like, and that made me also realize how books make you jump out of your bubble. I thought that I was really like, maybe not stuck, but really like hiding in this pool of handmade people. Like, it's so easy to reach people that are just like me, like love handmade, that's their thing and everything. But then it was so hard to jump out of that and really share the gifts of our industry outside. And the book did that for me. Like people reading the story, even though it's set in handmade industry, my background like is architecture, but then this whole setting of handmade industry is there. They still take out the value, even if they're like totally different, like IT. I even have guys telling me like, I wrote this book because my wife bought it and it's so cool. Now I understand why these women want to do the career and the kids and everything. So it was so funny to experience that. As you said, it's such a powerful tool. Svenja, I don't want to, take you too long, but I just have this one question, because I remember like also at this retreat that Sigrun said about Kickstart. And Kickstart is my thing. Like I really love being mentored there. And I see so many women entering Sigrun's work, doing their first online course, and then like really jumping off with the business. And finally, they like dare to write the book because they're like, okay, now I earn money. I can outsource. I can delegate. Now I have time for the book. And it's so funny because then the story goes full circle, right? But I remember that you also did the Kickstart at Sigrun's community. Can you tell us a bit of that? Because, it seems your business is quite a lot about, high touch, being with a person, being one-on-one, or being in an intimate group. And Kickstart is all about, doing a scalable course. How did that work for you in your business? Like my intention is like, there's no excuse. Like you can jump on this online train. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So I think you can say that my group program grew out of Kickstart. So yes, when I first was in my first Kickstart round, I was not that self-confident. It really got me out of my comfort zone. And I experienced, okay, I'm really good at this. Okay, I can do that. And it also showed me, okay, I'm not reaching the right the right ideal client now.
Yeah.
So afterwards, I changed it for more like makers, and
change makers,
and so on, and people who really do it and what they say and what they want, even if they are struggling. That's not the point, but they're trying to get through this. And that helped me a lot to reach the right people and to fill my program and also my one-on-one with people I really love to work with. And I think that's a main point for me. And well, you can still scale a business like I have, because you can work in a very, like you said, in a smaller group or one-on-one, but you can reach your price if you do this, rise your price if you do this. And yes, and that was always something I struggled with. So, at the retreat, Sigrun told me to rise my prices. And I did. So
congratulations. Yeah. When we listened what you do, we were like, no, it cannot cost that little.
Yeah. I'm still not in some parts. I'm still not there because I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't do that. But you're learning, you're growing into that mindset. But you need someone like you say, who pushes you through this kind of mindset and always remembering you that you are amazing, that you do amazing work.
Yeah, that's so true. Oh, thank you for sharing that story. Like, to me, witnessing what happens in the Kickstart process, it even doesn't matter whether there's an experienced entrepreneur or like a fresh, like new starting person, or like a person that is experienced offline but knows nothing about online. Each time there's so much magic happening in this program. There are so many different takeaways, like as you said, worked on your ideal client, and that was the thing you took from that, even though the program is sold as a course creation, and selling the course program, right? And it's such a magic of having people and working together, and like this environment that pushes us outside of our comfort zone.
I think that you are not just creating a course, you're creating your business in there.
Well said. Yeah, well said. Yeah, I would totally attest to that. Svenja, thank you so much for being here. I didn't want to make it too long to respect your time, but I'm so glad that we could chat around about the book. So just in case you need support when writing a book, we're going to link down all the notes to Svenja so you can easily find her, both in German and in English. We're going to link down all the notes for things that we've been talking about so you could easily deepen your knowledge about that. But Svenja, for today, thank you so much for sharing the story with us.
Thank you so much.